Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. And now it's time for a Reviewing Your Music segment on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/The Needle Drop. We're going to be taking viewer submissions this evening, the music of the viewers, of the fans. We're going to be listening to the tracks that they throw to me, just sort of picked at random as they come my way. And we're just going to be going over these, give constructive criticism, give thoughts, see if they're hot or not. Just check out the talent that's bubbling up in the community. Now, the first one that we have comes from username Ariel Tiffy. Artist is Ariel. Pronoun she, her. Genre funk, soul, R&B. Title track seems to be Layaway Luv. It's chilling over here on SoundCloud. It seems we've been given a link to a song that is marked as private. So this is an exclusive. We're getting an exclusive here, y'all. This is an exclusive. You heard it here, folks. Okay, we're getting an Ariel exclusive. Let's give it a spin. Let's give it a listen and see what it's got to offer. Ba-bam.
Window shopper going out tonight. Diced expensive credit flatline. Else can find. Say you want me but need more time. Oh, I water flowers without sunshine. We ain't growing enough. And I'm blind. Oh, baby, baby. Lay away, heavy playing the long game. Now I'm seeing weaknesses and some red flags. Lay away, love, get up my way. Lay away, love, get up my way. Let me free so I can find peace of mind. Lay away, I take it all back. Lay away, I can't afford that. Lay away, heavy playing the long game. Now I'm seeing weaknesses and some red flags. Lay away, love, get up my way. Lay away, love, get up my way. Lay away, won't work this one way.
Wow. Whoa. I mean, that's quite a good start to reviewing your music today. I mean, in a lot of respects, I felt like that track was kind of the total package. It had great mix, good production, very groovy, very well arranged, smooth as hell. The vocals, for the most part, were impressive too. I mean, I'm not going to say that I would pick this vocal very easily out of a lineup, but the performance was incredibly solid. I loved some of the jazzy phrasings throughout the verses. The vocal harmonies on the chorus were excellently executed. And there was good structure across the song too. I mean, for an artist who's at this level of writing and performance, it's really about, at this point, like you have all the basic building blocks of a good, great song here, and you clearly have the talent to be able to do it again. I don't know what kind of resources you poured into making this track. You may have put your whole life savings into this track. I don't know. I mean, it sounds very good. You know, there are people who do pour a lot of resources into making a song that's good. Or maybe, you know, you did all this DIY style. Either way, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying, like, at this point, when you're performing at this level, all it is like a matter of just striking and striking and striking repeatedly with the songs that you know that are good and new songs, so that, you know, you're constantly throwing stuff out there on streaming platforms, you know, be it SoundCloud or, you know, Spotify, or, you know, throwing it out there on Bandcamp, throwing it out there on TikTok to try to promote yourself as well. And just repeatedly hitting over and over until people just like discover you. In terms of breaking through, you know, like the Pink Pantheress approach, unless you're already connected with people who, you know, do management or are in the music industry or something, which, you know, with a track this good, you may in fact be. I don't know. But I don't really have any kind of major notes here, honestly. It's just like a really solid, impressive, you know, neo-soul type cut with a really gorgeous, luxurious instrumental and solid vocal performance all around and a standout hook. I mean, you know, if you continue consistently with songs this good and you are effectively promoting them on social media, they're not private. Or you submit them to reviewing your music streams and they get played. You know, you're going to get exposure. I mean, chat responded very positively to the track, and there's no question as to why. It was just a very good song, produced well, performed well, written well, all around. And I mean, good luck. I mean, keep pushing this and pushing other tracks like it, and, you know, do what you can to kind of get some promotional stuff going on the visual end too. You know, music video stuff, again, TikTok stuff, something to kind of hook people into the aesthetic and persona of what you do as well. You know, not to say again that that's entirely what you need to do. There's, again, also with the Pink Pantheress approach, she's pretty elusive when it comes to cameras and stuff. You don't need to be in front of the camera all the time, but you know, continue to push this and push what you're doing out there, and just find a way to make it as economical as, you know, it possibly can be, to continue making tracks at this quality level and just put them out again and again and again and again until one hits. And maybe it could be this one, I don't know. But, you know, I would say when you get the chance, I don't know exactly what you're waiting for. Maybe there's another version of this already out or something. Maybe there will be a video down the pipe. Either way, like when it makes sense, when you have all your promotional ducks in a row, I would put the song out. This is a good track. This is worth sharing. And I'm very flattered that you would feel safe coming here and sharing it here. This was quite good. Thank you. But again, before we move on to the next one, this was Ariel on SoundCloud. You know, check Ariel's account over here, because it looks like that's not the only song here. There's quite a few. So yeah, check it out, check it out, check it out. All right, this next one comes from Twitch user FredoGG. Fredo. GG. FredoTex is the artist name. Pronouns are he, him. Song title is As Above, So Below. Genre is hip hop. All right, here it is. It's got lightning all over the cover and some badass 3D text. Let's give it a spin, see what it's got to offer. Ba-boom.
Torture myself, scars down my astral body. Would I know peace even if she stood right beside me? Disregarded and I drugged myself along. Eyes heavy from the pressure of it all. Congratulations, you drive the new Mercedes. What it cost? Did I get your name? Did I hear that right? I know who you are. Last one off the sinking chips, all is for the treacherous. Gets the bread with a curse, so I put the world against my own plan from the start. The consequences call my art. Now you think you know.
Okay, nice. Cool. Nice. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for the submission. All right, my thoughts on this track generally. Favorite things that stood out had to be the production, song structure. I mean, the verses were an adequate length. The chorus popped. Those drums were super crisp. The groove was solid, albeit, you know, obviously going for a bit more of a loose thing. The fills kind of segued from one section of the track really well. Loved that milky little guitar line as well. That was really mournful, sorrow, full of sorrow, really kind of translated that emotion quite well. Bass was solid too. It was skeletal, but you know, the emotion of it resonated pretty hard. Beyond that, I would say like a lot of my reservations mostly had to do with the vocals. Some of the strained but kind of raspy lead vocals, while I did like the melody, the performance felt a little off, and the flow on the verses wasn't always like nailed down super clearly or cleanly, although I could see like there's definitely an intention there with the vocals and the track in generally to kind of play it a little loose, because there's this clear feeling of like dejection. I mean, I got the sense listening to it that there's like a real emotional downward spiral taking place. which again, like, rang through very clearly and, very intensely. So I could see that the looseness of it is trying to bolster that effect. And I think, while it does translate, it is clear that's kind of what it's going for. It's really going to be person to person as to how well that works. I mean, if you checked out chat, obviously there were a lot of people who, it really resonated with. I would say for me, it's a little bit too on the loose side, but not so far off from like being on where, in my opinion, from my own personal perspective, where I would prefer it to be, to where it's like, unenjoyable or something like that. So, again, I would say like, even if it is off, it's not far off. I obviously could still very clearly see what you're going for and see what the point and the emotion of the track is generally, which, I think is like ultimately where you want to be. And clearly, again, like it worked for many of the people in chat. So, take it from them as well. But yeah, I think this was a solid one all around. Again, I would try to like sure up some of those vocal melodies a little bit more and, just make the flow a bit cleaner. Even if you are going in sort of this kind of downward spiral direction, I could even catch a little Mac Miller vibe off of this a little bit too, which some other people were pointing out as well. But yeah, I think it's a solid one all around. I mean, I doubt you only do tracks like this, but I think it certainly shows that you're an artist cut from a certain kind of cloth if you can do an emotional track like this and have it resonate pretty clearly in the way that you did here. I'd be interested to hear more, just kind of hear maybe what some of your more hard-hitting tracks are looking like. Looseness of it is my favorite part. I think that looseness can be a really effective tool. It's just like, but with anything else, there's such a thing as too much, or, you can go too far with anything. I mean, is it exactly to where my preference would be in terms of the looseness? No. But I wouldn't say, like, for a song of this emotion, would you want it to be super rigid, super tight? Of course not. You'd kind of like lose the flavor. You'd lose the, the feeling of, depression, frankly, coming off of it if it was just like this really regimented type cut. Obviously, the looseness serves a purpose. Is there such a thing as like too loose, or is there like a perfect pocket, a balance here that I think could be struck better? Yes. I'm not saying get rid of the looseness entirely. Obviously, it's there for a reason. Hey, I see Fredo in chat. All right, well, again, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming through with this submission. I'm glad that you are liking a lot of the positivity that's in chat. It's well deserved because it is a solid track for sure. Like, regardless of my criticisms here, you have the basics of songwriting and song structure and production down here. You know what I mean? And that's a lot farther than some people are at. So it's like you're clearly putting in the work. I can only encourage you to continue doing it. And it looks like you've already got a share of songs and singles out here already, and all I can do is like encourage you to continue, just pushing and working on what you do. So again, thank you for submitting and thank you for coming through. All right, looks like here we go. This next track that we have is from the 15th Club. Monét Ngo, I believe, is the artist's name. Pronouns are he, him. Song title is Lonestar. Genre is alternative. I'm liking the cover art quite a bit. The collared shirt, the guitar, asleep on the desk, the clean white background. It's an effective little visual here. I'm feeling the vibe. Let's give it a spin. Ba-bam. Okay, nice. Nice. Monét Ngo. Appreciate the submission. My thoughts on the track are as follows. I mean, a lot of people messed with it in chat. That's always good. That's always a positive thing. That's always encouraging. Regardless of what I say, you can certainly take that away. I thought that it was a pretty cleanly produced and composed song overall. Drums were a little stiff, but came through really crisp. That bass line was quite nice. I don't know how much of that was or was not looped. But it felt like it had a pretty organic groove to it, which I did greatly appreciate. The production notes that I was not crazy about were some of the guitar passages. While obviously, you need a guitar accompaniment at some point in this track, and I think you placed those guitar passages really well to accompany, the heavy swells, the choruses and everything. Obviously, like, great touch, great idea, great direction. I wasn't crazy about the guitar tone. I mean, the reverb is not a bad move, but overall the guitar tone felt really blurry and kind of saturated. I don't know if it was due to an overuse of reverb or maybe like a little compression or something, but I feel like the sound, the tone of the guitar could be a little more material than ethereal. Right now I think it's a little too ethereal, and I think it'd be a little, just give it a little bit more body. It seems like a little too washed out. In my opinion, again, for my taste, to the point where it seems like it's a little out of touch with everything, because really everything else in the mix sounds so clean and crisp. And again, a little reverb is not a bad thing, but it just seems a little too saturated. The vocals, while I thought the vocal performance was solid, and maybe this is, sort of an old head perspective here, because obviously, these types of effects and touch-ups are being incorporated more and more into popular music across the board, not just pop and hip-hop and so on and so forth. But, some of the vocal effects and what sounded like a little bit like auto-tune, the touching up that you were throwing onto the vocals, just seemed a little heavy-handed. Again, this may be sort of me not being totally used to hearing this applied so heavily within this certain genre here. But again, I thought it was a little heavy-handed, especially since, like, I thought the vocals were really good. They sounded beyond what I could hear through the effects. Pretty, well executed and really expressive as well. And I guess, like, while effects are not a bad thing generally, I would say, especially on the vocal side, applying them in such a way where it makes it difficult to hear the emotion of your performance or connect with that directly, I would say is maybe going a little bit too far, But there are ways of kind of throwing on things like auto-tune when it comes to a vocal performance, but you still kind of get that human element. You still get that organic touch. You still kind of hear that emotion resonating through in the performance. Like, I would say, for example, the new Rosalia record. There are a lot of great vocal performances on there that are absolutely captivating emotionally, but there's like little cool touches and nudges of, auto-tune and weird little pitch corrections here and there, just kind of add like a little extra effect. So, I wouldn't say get less ambitious with the effects. I would say maybe apply more cleanly, more carefully, more creatively. Because, again, with the guitar and with the vocals, I think on both ends it was a little heavy-handed. But the song overall sounded well-composed, well-performed, well put together. And, again, I think a lot of people messed with it in chat for good reason. And, congratulations on the solid-ass track and the strong reception among the listeners. That's going to do it for this segment of Reviewing Your Music. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone on YouTube, remember, everybody who we talked about in this episode is going to be linked down below in the description box so you can check out their work for yourself. Anthony Fantano, Reviewing Your Music. You're the best forever. Mwah!